Good morning, dear students. Welcome back to geography class. And today you will study about the sedimentary rocks, the second part of the chapter rock and rock cycle. And as you can see on your screen, you can find the pictures given of different types of rock. So you can find here this, you can see this is the example of limestone. Now the next one is the mudstone. Now here this is the example of chalk, and here this is a picture you can see about conglomerate, and this is sandstone, and this is redstone, which is being used for so many monuments also, as you have heard about Red Fort, then Agra Fort, and so many monuments. They have been constructed by the same stone, that is red sandstone. So this is one photograph, and here you can find here given here the sedimentary rocks, which you can see here scattered, and you can find here the sedimentary rocks are also called stratified rocks. So let's start here with the sedimentary rock. Now sedimentary rock actually is very important rock. Economically, it is one of the most important rock, and when you will study, you will find out, you will see that how it is so important. Now this sedimentary rock, as the words that suggest, the sedimentary rocks are formed by the sediments. Now all of you know the rocks actually they go through the process of denudation. Now what is the meaning of denudation? So here this word denudation, it refers actually the two important process. They are disintegration and decomposition of rocks. So these are the two important terms you need to remember. The first is the disintegration and second is the decomposition. Now usually the word denudation, it is the combined process, the two process, that is weathering and erosion. Together it is called denudation. So usually when you will study about the weathering, the chapter weathering, you will study in more detail about it. But as I am teaching you, so let me just explain you in a brief. So what is denudation? Now denudation actually, it consists of two processes, that is weathering and erosion. Now what is weathering? The word weathering itself, as it suggests, it is actually a process which is usually affected by weather, change in the weather. So as the weather changes, example, in the deserts, if you have studied, if you remember, usually in deserts during the daytime temperature is very hot. But what happened during the night? Now because in the desert you can find there is no water, lack of water, and so humidity also is nil, there is no vegetation, even there is no clouds. And because of this absence of all these things, what happened during the day, the desert becomes very hot, because the sand, it absorbs the direct sun rays and becomes very hot, that increase the temperature of atmosphere there in desert, and so the temperature becomes very hot. But what happened during the night? As the sun sets very quickly, the heat escapes from the atmosphere because there are no clouds to protect them. And as the atmosphere means the air doesn't contains no humidity, there is no even the carbon dioxide, means pollution is not there, because if you remember that the carbon dioxide and water vapor are the two most important elements which absorbs the heat and keeps the atmosphere warm. Now in the absence of both things, what happened? This heat actually, it can't be absorbed by anything, because usually the water vapor and carbon dioxide, they absorb the heat and keeps the atmosphere warm even during the night. Now this effect usually is called greenhouse effect. So you can find in desert the greenhouse effect doesn't take place. There is no greenhouse effect. So because of this, what happened? During the night, as the sun sets very quickly, the heat escapes, means the very quickly the surface of the earth, that is the sand, it radiates back the heat, and the heat escapes in the space, because even there are no clouds present in the sky, because the cloud, what happened, they act as a cover. They don't allow the heat to escape in the space. So what happened during the night? The heat escapes where? In the space. And because of that, in desert, the temperature during the night becomes very, very cold. This is why there is one very important question usually is asked, that why the traveler who travels in the desert, or the people who live in the desert, near the desert areas, they used to keep the warm clothes with them, because what happened, during the night temperature becomes so cold that these people, they need the warm clothes. Well, so I am explaining you here why I am explaining you this thing, because I want to just explain you that in desert what happens, there is a very vast, very big difference in the temperature, means the maximum and minimum temperature in a day. During the day, sometimes during the summer season, when temperature sometimes touch to 50 degrees centigrade, now what happened, during the night the temperature drops down, and sometimes it becomes 15, even 12, close to 10 even. That's very, very cold. At that temperature usually we need the quilt and the blanket. So because of this, what happened, now there is one word, I was explaining you the word weathering. So when the rocks, usually what happened, when they go through the very, very extreme heat and extreme cold condition, just in a 24 hours, and during the day what happens, because of the direct sun rays, as the temperature also becomes so high, these rocks absorb the heat and they becomes very, very hot. So what happened, these rocks expand, the molecules in the rock, they expand. But during the night, as the temperature drops down so minimum, so less, it becomes so cold. So what happened, these rocks very quickly radiates the heat and they becomes cold, and again the molecules, they contract. Okay, so this continuously in the 24 hours, just in 24 hours during the day, the molecules in the rock, they expand. During the night they get extract. Now because of this, what happened, the rock becomes weak and the cracks are developed. Now this is one example of what thing, this is example of weathering. So this continuous change in the temperature, that weakens the rock, and after that the strong wind, all of you know, it blows there in desert, and that further breaks the rock into fine particles, and that's how the rocks is been eroded. So this is how the two process I told you, weathering and erosion. By the weathering and erosion continuously, the rocks actually they were just broken into, first of all, the big pieces, and further very small and very fine pieces. And what happened? They convert into sediments. Well, and this is how, first of all, what happened, the rocks, they just by the process of denudation, they converted into sediments. Now again, when these sediments, what happened here, first of all, as I was explaining you, giving you the example of desert. Now these strong winds, they just pick up the fine particles, means the sediments, and they just transport at some place, and again they deposit it. So what happened? The sediments are being deposited in layers. And what happened? Sometimes, because they contains different type of chemicals, and there is one process takes place, and that we called lithification. Lithification means one word actually, just to explain you what is the meaning of lithification. I am using a one word, but actually there is no such word, but just to explain you. So this new word which I have, I'm just trying to use it just to explain you. So what is lithification? When the cementation takes place. Well, cementation you will find out in the dictionary, there is no such word cementation, but when we use this word, then it becomes very easier to understand. So usually what happen, these sediments, or maybe sand, or maybe silt, anything, the sediments actually they get solidified. This process is called lithification, and again the rocks are formed, and these rocks are called sedimentary rocks. So now what happened? First of all, these sediments are deposited in layers. Now because usually this whole process, it takes place in so many years, sometimes thousands of years. So first of all, what happened? First layer of sediment is being deposited, after over that layer another layer, and this is how these sediments are deposited in layers by layer upon layer. And when they get solidified, they form the sedimentary rocks, and these sedimentary rocks, that's why they are found in layers. We're going to see some example that most of the sedimentary rocks you will find they are formed usually in layers. One very good example is shell. If you'll find that rock shell, you will see they are actually formed in layers. And this is why these rocks are also called stratified rocks, because the layers means strata. So because these rocks are formed in layers, and that's why they are, and layers are called strata, so these rocks are also called stratified rocks. Now let me explain you the two important words which I told you, that is the disintegration and decomposition. What do you mean by disintegration? Now these are two very important terms you need to know. Now all of you know the rocks, they go through the process of denudation, and I explained you the two process together, they are called denudation. What are they? They are the weathering and erosion. Now what happened? This weathering and erosion, they usually is taken place by two processes. These two processes are called disintegration and decomposition. So first of all, let's see what is the meaning of disintegration. The word disintegration means it is a mechanical process. Mechanical process means by the erosional work of maybe wind or running water, or by glaciers or by very heavy rainfall even. So by some forces, when the rocks are broken into pieces and further they are converted into fine and much finer sediments, so that is called disintegration. Even this disintegration also include the weathering. Even the weathering, that is the extreme temperature, even by the humidity, by moisture means. Okay. So all these things which are found, we are call them the elements of weather. So the elements of weather are the temperature, humidity, then the moisture, that is humidity. So moisture, then the wind and sun rays. Okay. Then there is the rainfall. So many things together. So when they continuously act on the rock and the rocks are broken into pieces, now this thing is called weathering. Okay, so I was telling you the disintegration actually is a mechanical process. This disintegration is a mechanical process. In a simple language, when the rocks actually when the denudation process takes place by disintegration, means mechanical process, maybe by the weathering or by the erosional work of the wind and the running water, or maybe the glaciers, or maybe even by the animals, or maybe the human activities, right? When the rocks are broken into pieces, and what happened, they are converted into sediments, and again they get solidified and forms the sedimentary rocks. Now that thing is called disintegration. So I think all of you may have understood about the word disintegration. Now let us see what is the meaning of decomposition, because as you study biology and you know that decomposition usually occur in organic matter. When the bacteria, what they do, they just break the organic matter into simple elements, right? Now that is called decomposition. So what happened, the food and all the living beings, when any dead bodies, they go through the process of decomposition, and the bacteria, they just break it into the simple compound, right? So complex compounds, they are being converted into simple compound. Usually you know this thing, that is called decomposition. But in geography, the decomposition of rock doesn't mean that this is done by the bacteria. There is no bacteria works here in rocks. So let's see what is the meaning of decomposition in geography. Now decomposition means, now suppose, let me give you one example. Now suppose the rock, as all of you know, they contain so many different types of elements. Now suppose if rock contains iron and other some minerals also. Now what happens when this iron, it reacts with the oxygen, that is the atmospheric oxygen, and they forms iron oxide. Iron oxide, what happen, it is usually the rust is also called iron oxide. So what happen when the iron oxide is formed, means the iron present in the rock, they react with the oxygen, they forms the iron oxide. The rock becomes weak, and very easily now the rocks can be broken into pieces. So I think all of you have understood this. So this process is called decomposition. Now this both thing, disintegration and decomposition, you will study in the chapter weathering. There I will teach you, I will explain you in much detail. So because these are the important things, these are some important terms you should know. That's why I explained you first of all about the formation of the sedimentary rock. So in a simple manner, let us see again. So what are the sedimentary rocks? The rocks actually which are formed by the solidification of sediments. They are called sedimentary rocks. There are so many examples I have shown you, like limestone, mudstone. Now example, what is the limestone? Limestone usually, lime, all of you know about the lime, calcium carbonate. Now calcium carbonate is a very soft material, but what happens when it solidifies? It forms limestone. Same way all of you know about the mud. But when the mud, the process lithification takes place, so they solidified and they forms the mudstone. Now what is the chalk? All of you know, the calcium carbonate, and they solidified and they forms the chalk. The difference between here, let me just show you the two rocks, limestone and chalk. Now what is the difference between the limestone and chalk? These limestones, they contain some more elements, and that's why they are much harder. They are very hard. But the chalk actually, they are very soft because they are pure calcium carbonate. Okay, another thing is the sandstone. What is sandstone? The sand, when they go through the process of lithification, they solidified and they forms sandstone. So some examples I have shown you here. The same way the red sandstone, when the red sand, this gets solidified and they forms very hard stone, hard rocks, and they are called red sandstone. So this is what we have seen first of all about the formation of the sedimentary rock. Now next we are going to see about the common types of sedimentary rock, the types of sedimentary rocks. But before I just explain you and I show you the different types of sedimentary rocks, let me show you one table and explain you here. So on your screen, as you can find here, there is given here some common sedimentary rock types. So all the sedimentary rocks, they are classified into three types, as you can find here. The first one is the mechanically formed or composed of rock and mineral fragment, that is mechanically formed rocks. The first category is mechanically formed rocks. Examples are given here: sandstone, conglomerate, mudstone, claystone, shell. Some more example I will show you. Now what is the common composition? How they are formed? What thing takes place here? Look here. Cemented means lithification takes place. Cemented sand grains. The sand grains actually, they get a lithification takes place, right? And these rocks are formed. Now sandstone, containing pebbles of hard rocks, many hard rocks together. What happened? Let me show you here the picture, then you will understand here. As you can see here, the conglomerate. Now there are so many stones are there, and they together they solidified and they forms a rock. So there are so many stones. So what happened when so many stones actually they just get together, lithification process takes place because of some chemical present there, and they get solidified together, they forms a bigger rock. So this is called conglomerate. So the same thing here. Sandstone, what are the, when they contains pebbles of hard rocks, so they are called conglomerate. Now what is the mudstone? Now silt and clay with some sand together, when they go through the process of lithification, mudstone is formed. Now what is claystone? The clay gets solidified, means lithification takes place in the clay, they forms claystone. Now what is shell? Now these clay actually, as they, first of all, these clay actually they are deposited in the layers, and what happen? They get solidifies. That's why you can find the shells actually, you will find so many flakes. Flat flakes means layers you will find, the different plates in the form of plates. So this is one example of the first example of the mechanically formed rocks. So many examples you have seen here: sandstone, conglomerate, mudstone, claystone, shell. Now next is the chemically formed rocks. Now here it is written here, chemically precipitated rocks. So in a common simple language, chemically formed rocks. For example, limestone, dolomite, chert, evaporites. Now what? Let's see here how they are formed. Limestone is formed how? Usually the calcium carbonate. What happened? Now where they are formed? They are formed by the precipitation on the sea and the lake floors. So now usually the limestones, usually when there are so many region of limestones are there. So there you can find, especially there is one place known as karst plain region in Yugoslavia. That whole region is called karst region, and this is the biggest region of limestone region, and there you can find this limestone very commonly. Next is the dolomite. Now what is dolomite? When magnesium and calcium carbonate, right, a lithification process takes place, and what happened? They just forms a dolomite. Dolomite actually similar to the limestone, but only thing magnesium is present in it. Dolomite actually is used especially just for the explosive. As explosive also this dolomite is used. Then chert. What is chert? Silica. Now silica actually is a non-crystalline material. So what happened when the lithification takes place here, and what happened? They forms the chert. Next, the evaporite. Now what are the evaporite? Now they are the minerals formed by the evaporation during the some region. What happened due to the evaporation when the water gets evaporated? So what happened? Lithification takes place near the coastal areas, and the rocks are formed, and they are called evaporites. Now the third type of rock is the organic formed rocks. Example, first is the coal. Now what is the coal? Now coal usually they are formed, they are also called the fossil rocks. So what are the coal? Coal actually in a distant past actually, when a very big region of the forest they were all buried, and what happened? These vegetation, large amount of vegetation, so as they were buried, right, and they go through the process, different process, and in that actually what happened? They just change into coal. So this is organic process, and by that actually these rocks are formed. So coal actually also is one example of sedimentary rock. Next is the petroleum and natural gas. Petroleum, all of you know, petroleum actually is a liquid, but petroleum is derived from the layers of the rock, and that's why the word petro. What is the meaning of petro? The word petra actually is a Greek word which means rock. So the oleum means oil from the rock. That's from that word actually this word is derived, petroleum. Petra, the word from petra, oleum, that is oil. So petra means rock. That's what is petroleum is, rock oil. Well, now usually you know about that the petroleum, when we talk about petroleum, means petrol, diesel, kerosene, they are all actually are the part of petroleum. But usually you know that it is a liquid, but this liquid actually is extracted from the layers of the rock, from deep inside the ground, and that's why this is called organic rock. The layers from which these rocks are extracted, those rocks are called organically formed rocks. Next is the natural gas. The same place where the petroleum is extracted, even the natural gas also is extracted from the same layers of the rock. So this is why these are kept into the third group, that is organically formed rocks. Now let's see here one by one, and we're going to see the first of all the mechanically formed rocks. And already I have explained you about the mechanically formed rocks, that these rocks actually, they first of all, the different rocks like igneous rocks or maybe the metamorphic rocks, when they go through the process of degradation, so first of all what happened? They were converted into sediments, and when these sediments again they go through the process of lithification. Lithification means, I told you, because of some chemical cementation. Cementation is no such word, but I am just using it to just explain you, making it easier. So what happened? Solidification, that sediments get solidified, and they just forms the different types of rock. So those rocks are called mechanically formed rocks. Okay, let's see here some example one by one. The first example, as you can see here, this is the sandstone. Already I have shown you. Now sandstone is what? Sandstone, by the name itself, as you can see, the sand, when they get solidified by the process of lithification, so the sandstone is formed. Now sandstone is a very common rock. Next is the conglomerate. Now many round pebbles and the cobbles and gravels, small stone means they are all the cobbles, pebbles and gravels. They actually are small stones found. Usually you can find it in the streams, the small rivers. You can find these pebbles. And so what happens, sometimes they get cemented together because of the calcium carbonate and silica present there. So calcium carbonate and silica together, they act as one chemical, right? And they bind together these small stones, and as I shown you the figure here, conglomerates are formed. Now next is the silt stone. The word silt, all of you know. What is the silt? The deposition that is done by the river. All of you know the river brings the silt. During the flood, they deposit there on the both banks of the river. So when these silt, it goes through the process of lithification, they get solidified and they forms the rock, and those rocks are called silt stones. Now next is the shell. Shell is also called mudstone. Now as I told you, these shells, actually the mud which is deposited in different layers, and in the same layer they get solidified. So because of the lithification process, so they are called shell and mudstone. So we have seen some example of these rocks. Some more examples we will see about the mechanically formed rocks again. Now the second type of rocks are the organically formed rocks. As I told you, there was a time, actually different, you may have heard about different ages. Some example is very common, like Ice Age. Many of you must be knowing about, or maybe have heard of in the cartoons and so many cartoon films also, about the Ice Age. Then there is one more age, all of you knowing about, Jurassic Age. Jurassic Park film, many of you may have heard, or you may have seen. So that age in which the dinosaurs were living on the earth, that age is called Jurassic Age. I'm just telling you some example, common example of the ages. Now actually the history of the earth is divided into different ages. Now if I just tell you the different ages, it will be difficult for you to understand. That's why I'm just giving you some common words, so you can understand that there was the different, the earth actually goes through so many ages. So there, all these ages were for a time period, for different time period. Now when we talk about the Jurassic Age, now in Jurassic Age there was a time actually when very large animals, reptiles, but very large reptiles were living on the earth. So human beings were not living there on the earth. So that was the time of the dinosaurs. Now during that time, actually even the vegetation which was found at that time, they were much bigger. Much bigger means today what we see, the trees, the very tall trees. So at that time actually the vegetation and the trees actually were much bigger than the biggest and the tallest tree at present. So, and the large part of the earth was covered with these very dense and very extensive vegetation. Now what happened? Now usually the different scientists, they have different views, but some of them, they agree in one common concept, that what happened, a very very big, some heavenly body, celestial bodies, maybe some meteorite or maybe some comet, it hit the earth, and that was much bigger in size. So when it hit the earth, what happened? A large dust raised. And what happened? This dust was much, means it was too much amount. The mass of this dust was too much. It just covers the whole sky. And what happened? For so many years, thousands of years, it became dark. Dust blocked the sun rays. And because of that, what happened? Another age started, and that is the ice age. You may have heard. And what happened? All the dinosaurs, they all died. And slowly, the dust which was raised, the heap of dust was raised there, and that covers the whole atmosphere. It just covers the whole earth, and it blocks the sun rays. So slowly, this dust settles there on the earth's surface, and it buries all these animals which were died during that time, and it buried so large extensive forest even. Now what happened? These forest and these animals, and what happened? Even the sea and plant, right? Sea plants, and even in the sea also. So what happened? All these things, they were buried, and for a long period of time they go through the organic process, and they just converted into rocks, and these rocks are called fossils. So I think all of you have understood about how the organically formed rocks were formed, because so you know that what happened, the very extensive, very large and extensive forest, when they were buried under the heap of dust, so what happened? These trees, all vegetation, they just decayed, and they turned into the coal. Then what happened? The large animals, because the animals, as all of you know about the dinosaurs, they were much bigger in size, and even their bones have a very big mass. So many animals, when as they died and they were buried under the heap of dust, so what happened? Their bones, and they just go through the process, the organic process, and what happened? They turned into calcareous rocks. So this is how actually the coal, petroleum, natural gas, and the limestone, that is also called calcareous rock, that is calcium carbonate, they are formed, right? So calcareous rocks is an example of what thing, which type of rocks? Limestone and chalk. So all these rocks, they are kept into which category? Organically formed rocks. Now next is the chemically formed rocks. Let's see here, what do you mean by the chemically formed rocks? Now all of you know about the salt. There are the different types of salt are present in the market, right? Now usually we call them rock salt. So what happens? Now usually the rock salt, they go through the process, chemical process, as the water gets evaporated and the salt which was left behind, it gets solidified, and the rock salts are formed. Now this thing is very common feature. These type of rocks usually are very common in the Dead Sea, Aral Sea, Caspian Sea, Sambhar Lake in Rajasthan, and these features are very common. From these places the rock salt is obtained. So this is one good example of the chemically formed rocks, right? So what happened, as you can see here, you can read the same thing what I have explained you in the easier language. Now let's see here some more example. Now these are the three types of rocks. Now some more examples are given in your book. Now let me just explain you. Now there is a one rock, Aeolian sedimentary rock. Now this is also an example of which type of rock? Actually it is a mechanically formed rock. Aeolian sedimentary rocks are kept into which category? Mechanically formed rocks. Now what is the Aeolian? Aeolian means, I have explained you in the previous chapter about the lowest soil. The very fine particles of sand which is carried by the strong winds, and when they deposit it at some place, so usually we call them loess. So when these depositions, the lowest soil, wherever it is deposited, that region is called Aeolian deposit. So wherever this lowest soil is deposited in the heap, now that deposits together is called Aeolian deposit. Now when this Aeolian deposit, it goes through the process of lithification, that means solidified, they forms Aeolian sedimentary rock. And so it is also which type of rock? It is also a mechanically formed rock. Next is the glacial sedimentary rocks. Now I explained you that glaciers, what are the glaciers? Glaciers are the very extensive ice. Together when they solidifies and they forms glacier. And these glaciers also move on the rocks. And as they move, the movement is very slow. But when they move on the rocky surface, they erode the surface of the rock. The sediments is carried by these glaciers, and usually they are deposited in the lower valleys, where these glaciers, they get melted. So as the glaciers melts, the deposition which they carried from so far, so they are being deposited there at some place. Now that deposit usually is called moraine. Now what is moraine? Now moraine is a very common sediment. Now in market also you have seen the brown sand, and usually you have heard this word. You will ask them, they will tell you this is a moraine or morang. Well, in India, in Gorakhpur, we call it that word morang. That is, so usually it is moraine, that same red sand. Okay, that is moraine. It is formed by what thing? Glacial sedimentary rocks. So these sediments are formed by the glaciers. Now what happens when these moraines are deposited at some place, and again when these moraine, they go through the process of lithification, means they solidified, they forms glacial sedimentary rock, and these are also example of mechanically formed rocks. Now next is the petroleum. Petroleum means rock oil. Already I explained you about, right, about the vegetation when they decayed and what happened. They are example of organically formed rocks. Next, one more example we have seen here, rock salt. I explained you, this is the example of the chemically formed rocks. Then the coal, I explained you, this is the example of organically formed rocks. Now let's see very quickly about the characteristic of sedimentary rock. So the first characteristic of the sedimentary rock, as you can see here, they are derived from what thing? Pre-existing rocks. Pre-existing rocks means usually the igneous rocks and the metamorphic rocks, when they go through the process of sedimentation, means weathering and erosion. So sediments are formed, and when the sediments again they solidifies, they form the sedimentary rocks. So that is origin, already I explained you. Now because these rocks are also found in layers, and they are also called stratified rocks. Now usually these rocks usually are formed in the horizontal layer, but during the movement of the earth, tectonic movement, is at different places, what happened due to the tectonic movement, they are also sometimes found in the tilted position and also lateral position. Now next is there are so many examples, right? Usually in the sea and the ocean also you can find some examples like the boulders, cobbles, pebbles, granules, sand, silt. Now these are the sediments, but boulders, cobbles, these are the example of the rocks, right? Well, so these sediments actually, what happen when the rocks actually they go through the process of sedimentation, the process of denudation. So they are broken into big pieces, that is the boulders, much smaller pieces, cobbles, very small pebbles, then very small granules, then the sediments. Example of sediments are sand, silts, clays, and the lime. Okay. Next is these sedimentary rocks. Many places you can find, because I told you they are found in the layers. So different joints are also you can find in the sedimentary rock. In the bedding plane, you can find these joints. That's a very common thing in the sedimentary rocks. Next is the sedimentary rocks actually is permeable and porous, means they allow the water to pass very easily. Most of the sedimentary rocks actually they are porous in nature, so the water can easily pass through these rocks. Next is the sedimentary rocks. They contain fossils. Fossils actually are only found in sedimentary rock, not in the metamorphic, neither in the igneous. So the fossils are found only in sedimentary rocks. The next one is the sedimentary rocks. They are well solidly consolidated or poorly consolidated and even unconsolidated. What is the meaning of consolidated? Sedimentary rocks means they can be very strong, very hard. They can be very soft, right? Even unconsolidated means very soft. Poorly unconsolidated means they can be very weak. So they can be very strong in nature also, means very hard. They can be soft also in nature. Then in the riverine, means near the river place, near the river valleys, when the sedimentary rocks are formed, usually you will find when they gets dry, so cracks are developed because they are exposed to the sun, and usually these cracks actually they are polygonal shape, right? The shape of these cracks when they are formed, they are polygonal shape. So today only the sedimentary rock. Next period I will explain you about the metamorphic rocks. So goodbye and all the best.